morning, dear students. Today's our lecture will be about muscles. So, our lecture today are general myology, muscles as an organ, structure and function of the muscle, classification, development, biomechanics elements. Are you ready? Okay. Myology is a scientific study of muscles. 400 muscles in the body. Muscles are made of bundles of muscle fibers which are held together by connective tissue. The term muscle describes an organ composed of either smooth muscle tissue, skeletal muscle tissue, or cardiac muscle tissue that is designed specifically to contract. The contraction of muscle tissue can be used to produce voluntary or involuntary movements of various parts of the body. Types of muscle. 3 types of muscles exist within the human body. Skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscles. Muscles which are attached to the skeleton and to act on the bones are called skeletal muscles. In the picture, you can see skeletal muscles of the human body. Skeletal muscles, most abundant muscle, attached to bone, causes body to move, voluntary. There are almost 400 independent skeletal muscles, which contribute to 35–40% of the body weight in the adult person. In the old age, musculature partially deteriorates, leading to the 25–30% decrease in its mass. In newborns, the skeletal muscle mass contributes to 20–22%. Skeletal muscles is made of many individual cells called muscle fibers due to their elongated shape. Each muscle fiber is surrounded by a connective tissue called endomysium. A group of from 10 to 100 muscle fibers surrounded by perimysium is called a muscle fascicle. Group of muscle fascicles are surrounded by epimysium will make the actual skeletal muscle. Endomysium, perimysium, epimysium. Endomysium, perimysium, epimysium. Skeletal muscles surrounded by epimysium contain muscle fasciculus. Muscle fasciculus surrounded by perimysium contains muscle fibers. Muscle fibers surrounded by endomysium contains myofibrils. Cardiac muscle. Cells are packed so closely together it's hard to tell one cell from another. Forms walls of the heart, contact to circulate blood, involuntary. Striated cardiac muscle tissue is distinguished from the skeletal musculature. Its muscle fibers are tightly interwoven with each other, forming a single network. Moreover, cardiac muscles are capable of autonomic contraction independent from our voluntary control. Cardiac muscles from heart. Smooth muscle. Visceral smooth muscles found in internal organs of the body, digestive, respiratory system, blood vessels, and eyes. Muscles contract to cause movement in these areas. Involuntary function without the person thinking about contracting the muscles. Smooth muscles. The classification of the muscles. The classification of the muscles by shape. Long muscles, biceps brachii muscles, triceps brachii muscles. Head caput, tendinous or muscle portion of the muscles, which correspond to its origin. Bicipital, tricipital, or quadricipital muscles are distinguished. Belly, venter, a fleshy middle portion of the muscle. There are muscles with two beds. Tail, cauda, a long tendon which serves for the attachment of the muscle to the bone. Insertion. One muscle may have 1, 2, 3, or 4 attachments. White muscles, for example, internal oblique abdominal muscle, external oblique abdominal muscles. Trapezius muscles, latissimus dorsi muscles. Short muscles are muscle of the hand and feet. The classification based on the direction of the muscle's fibers. Parallel, oblique, unipinnate muscle, bipinnate muscle, multipinnate muscle. Orbicular, surrounding natural orifice, mouth, orbit, and anus. Cruciate orientation. Parallel, for example, musculus rectus abdominis. Oblique, musculus obliquus abdominis externus. Orbicular, for example, musculus orbicularis oris and musculus orbicularis oculi. Parallel. Are characterized by fascicles that run parallel to one another, and contraction of these muscle groups acts as an extension of the contraction of a single muscle fiber. Can be divided into fusiform and non-fusiform types based on their shape. Fusiform muscles are more spindle-shaped. The diameter at the center is greater than at either end. Non-fusiform muscles are more rectangular, with a constant diameter. Oblique. Among the muscles with the oblique direction of the muscle fibers, there are pinnate muscles in which tendons extend through the entire muscle's length, while muscle fibers run obliquely at the angle to the tendon. There are unipinnate, bipinnate, and multipinnate muscles. Unipinnate muscles, musculus unipinnatus, contains oblique muscle fibers which are attached to one side of the tendon. Bipinnate muscles, musculus bipinnatus. Its tendon passes through the muscle's midline and oblique muscle fibers are attached on either side of the tendon. Multipinnate muscles, musculus multipinnatus, consist of several tendons which pass through the muscle, oblique muscle fibers are attached to the tendons on every side. Orbicular muscles. The fibers of the circular or sphincter muscles are arranged concentrically around an opening or rectus. As a muscle contracts, the opening it circumvents gets smaller. Skeletal circular muscles are different from smooth muscles equivalents due to their structure and because they are under voluntary control. The orbicularis oris, which controls the opening of the mouth, is an example for a circular muscle. In this slide, you can see parallel musculus rectus abdominis, oblique musculus obliquus abdominis internus externus. In this picture, you can see orbicular muscles, musculus orbicularis oris and musculus orbicularis oculi. Also, you can see all types of the muscles. The classification of the muscle based on their relationship to the joints. Uniarticular muscles, biarticular muscles, and multiarticular muscles. The principle of muscular nomenclature. By shape, trapezius, rhomboidus, quadratus. By function, flexors, extensors, supinators, pronators. By size, maximus, minimus, long, short. By origin and insertion, sternocleidomastoid brachioradial. By location, gluteus brachialis plantar. Antagonists and synergists, a group of muscles whose action occur in one direction are called synergists. Antagonists act in the opposite direction. Muscles of the back. We have superficial muscles divided into two groups. Muscles attached to the upper limbs, trapezius, latissimus dorsi, levator scapular, rhomboid muscles. And trunk muscles of ventral origin which migrate to the back and reside deeper. Serratus superior and inferior muscles. They attach to the ribs. And next, big group are deep muscles. Deep are derived from the dorsal parts of the myotomes and remain on the back. They are arranged in several layers. Muscles of the back. Musculus trapezius, musculus latissimus dorsi. Levator scapular muscles. Muscles of the chest. Superficial. Pectoral minor, subclavius, serratus anterior muscle. And deep external and internal intercostal muscles, subcostal and transverse thoracic muscles. Diaphragm is a thin flat muscle, convex upward. Muscles of the abdomen form the walls of the abdominal cavity, filling the gap between the thoracic cage and the pelvis. May be divided into the anterior, lateral, posterior groups by their location. Please look at previous slide. Waist muscles of the abdomen. Anterior group, lateral group, and posterior group depend. Muscles of the neck. Are characterized by complex origin. Are divided into the superficial and deep muscles according to their topography. Muscles of the head. Are divided into the facial muscles and masticatory muscles. For facial muscles are characterized by the following features. Small muscle bundles, which originate from the bones of the skull and insert into the skin. Facial muscles group around the natural orifice is the annular, constrictors, or radially dilatator. The majority is devoid of fascia. Muscles of the upper limb. These muscles are divided into muscles of the shoulder girdle, upper arm, forearm, and hand. Muscles of the lower limb. These muscles are divided into muscles of the pelvic girdle, thigh, leg, and foot. The muscles of the pelvic girdle are divided into the anterior and posterior groups. The muscles of the thigh are divided into the anterior extensors, posterior flexor, and medial adductors groups. Pelvic girdle, thigh, leg, and foot. The endomysium, perimysium, and epimysium extend through the muscle and join together at the ends to form the tendons. Tendons are the inelastic fibers that attach to the periosteum of the bone. A broad flat tendon is called an aponeurosis. Fascia is a term to describe sheet of fibers that exist beneath the skin and surround the muscle and organs. Superficial fascia separates the skin from muscle. It's composed of areola and adipose tissue and allows for passage of blood vessels, lymph vessels, nerves into and out of muscle. It also insulates and projects the muscles. Functions of the skeletal muscles. Attached to bones to provide voluntary movement. During contraction provide heat and energy. Helps maintain posture. Some project internal organs. Skeletal muscle attached to bones in various ways. Tendon. Strong, tall connective tissue cord. Connect muscles to bone, Achilles tendon. Attached to calf muscles and heel bone. Lumbodorsal fascia surrounds the deep muscle of the back and trunk. Fascia. Tough, sheet-like membrane that covers and projects tissue lumbodorsal fascia. Surrounds the deep muscles of the back and trunk. Origin. When a muscle attached to the bone, the end doesn't move. Usually attached closer to the trunk of the body, where the muscle begins. Insertion. The end of the muscle that attached to a bone that moves, where the muscle ends. Characteristic of muscle tissue. Contractibility. Ability to shorten and thicken. When muscles move, they contract, that is, they get shorter and thicker. Extensibility. Ability to stretch. When muscle is relaxed, it becomes longer and thinner. Some muscle work while others relax. Elasticity. Ability to return to original length. Irritability. Ability to respond to stimulus. Tone. Slight tension in the muscle at all times, even at rest. Movement performed by muscles. Adduction. Moving a body part towards the midline. Abduction. Moving a body part away from the midline. Flexion. Decreasing the angle between two bones and body part. Extension. Increasing the angle between two bones and body part. Rotation. A circular motion which turns a body part on its axis. Sphincters. Ring-like muscles that close body openings. Example rectum. Levators. Lift a part of the body. Depressors. Lower a part of the body. Supination. The act of rotating the arm so the palm of the hand is upward. Pronation. The act of rotating the arm so the palm of the hand is turned downward. Development of the musculature in humans. Trunk and limb muscles originate from the myotomes, which appear in the process in differentiation of the somates. On the fifth week of embryonic development, the skeletal muscles of the back begin to arise from the dorsal portion of myotomes. Muscles derived from the branchial apparatus. Mesenchyme of the first vistral-mandibular arch gives rise to the muscles of mastication, which are innervated by the third branch of the trigeminal nerve. Mesenchyme of the second vistral hyoid arch forms a common primordium invaded by the facial nerve. Myoblast of this primordium spread into the face, forming the muscle of facial expression. The third and fourth branchial arches give rise to the muscle of the pharynx and larynx, which are associated with the glossopharyngeal and vagus nerves. Anomalies and variations of muscular development. Absence of the entire muscle. Partial defect of the muscle. Appearance of additional muscles. Appearance of additional part of the muscles. Connection and fusion of several muscle parts. Separation of the muscle into parts. Size, form, and attachment variations. Dear students, it's last slide for today. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.